So welcome to another episode of the VIA VHS Retro Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Wesley, as always, joined by Spencer. And this week's featured rental, we're going back to 1996 to see this wonderful comedy starring the comedian Sinbad. We're talking Shazaam. No, we're not.
No, we're talking Kazaam. But Shazaam was something that, it did sort of, exist in people's minds no matter what.
People's minds. Yeah.
Because I remember seeing it, that's the weirdest thing. Is I remember myself, and I remember it was just like a couple months ago, my friend Buddy brought up the thing of like how the Sinbad one doesn't exist. I'm like, get out, like the way. I'm like, I remember that. And he's like, try looking it up, but you can't find it to save your life. And it's like, it's so true. And then I asked all my other friends, I just sent out some text messages and some feelers to be like, yo, you remember the Sinbad movie, Shazaam? And everyone's like, yeah, of course I remember that. I saw that a bunch of times and everything like that. And then you go like, well, somehow, some way it doesn't exist. Try looking it up. It's one of those ones. I literally think it's a dimensional effect. I think something happened where that movie did exist. And then I don't know if they either wanted to erase it government-wise or something happened.
Okay, I was gonna go into this later, but let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. Because so I'm in the camp of the detractors. I don't remember this movie ever existing, so therefore it didn't exist in my mind. But I'll give it some credibility on one end. A lot of people who I'm close to, who aren't bullshitters, my wife in particular does not bullshit around.
Yeah,
she remembers it.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Is I literally remember watching it in the 90s.
I think it's mass delusion.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah,
it's that, or because the weird thing is I remember it before the Kazaam movie too.
Okay, well, I want to talk about that too because there's some interesting elements in there. You remember it coming out before Kazaam,
yeah,
right? But a lot of people remember it at the same time, which is an interesting detail that I find sort of, compelling because I read a lot of comments that people remember it coming out with Kazaam and being like, wow, we have two competing Genie movies, kind of like, Ants and Bugs Life. And then you have, Armageddon, Deep Impact. They had two competing Genie movies, but they sounded the exact same. So people remember it like that, which I found it interesting that people not only remember the movie, but they have a similar memory of how it came out. But then other people are like you, that remember it coming out before or after, the other movie.
I remember it coming out not radically earlier, but just it was it came out first and then Kazaam came out. Because I remember thinking this, when the Shaquille O'Neal one came out, I'm like, wow, they're already doing this. They're doing another one of that pretty much. And it's just weird that so many people have this memory of it because it doesn't feel like one of those ones where, you would think that it wouldn't exist or anything like that. You'd be like, oh, no. It's it does seem like, if you ask anybody on the street a lot of times, there's a high chance that those people have seen that movie if they're from that time period, even if they maybe haven't. So what did they see? That's what I wonder. What did I watch myself? That's the first thing I think about,
I don't know what you saw. Because I sure as hell didn't. I never saw this.
It was a West Coast thing.
Maybe I might have been because my wife remembered. But see, my brother is adamant too. My brother sends me stuff about it. Now, I think he knows it gets on my nerves. So he is messing with me a little bit. But I do legitimately think he remembers it. I don't understand what this is. I mean, there's people talk about the Mandela Effect. And I just think it's people, misremembering things. Because I found this odd. I just saw today on TikTok, there's this guy who makes a lot of millennial content, 80s, 90s content, early 2000s. And he was talking about the Mandela Effect and he was talking about different logos. And he's like, I remember Jif being Jiffy. Jif was Jiffy. But even in this movie, there's a Jif peanut butter jar and it says Jif on it, not Jiffy. So
yeah, I don't remember that one. So
yeah, I don't. That's the one. Plus, about the Fruit of the Loom thing.
Sometimes I think some of those things. I wonder if in somebody's household, that's how they referred to it as. So they go, oh, Billy, you want some Jiffy? And it's. I feel some of that stuff happens there when it comes down to wordplay. The other one's the weird one is this is something that I've been having a hard time looking up to try to show people. But do you remember that No Fear character that used to be in the 90s and early 2000s? He was a little short, scrawny cartoon character with white spiky hair, and he had kind of baggy pants and baggy
Yeah.
shirt on and everything like that.
Yeah.
I can't find that character online to save my life.
Yeah. Here in North Carolina, it was always that kid, and he was a sticker, and he was always peeing on Jeff Gordon's number because we're all our fans.
Well,
Well,
see, I
every
remember.
single time.
So,
Yeah.
because they would use him in that Calvin and Hobbes style, and I can't remember who did it first. If Calvin did it first, where he peed on stuff, or if that no fear. But dude, I cannot find that. If I try to look that no fear person up, because I was trying to show Laura that character, because I was like, that thing was a big deal in like the '90s and early 2000s, and you just can't find it to save your life. I searched through eBay and everything looking for like give me a 1999 no fear shirt, and you could not find that guy on there. Couldn't find his face. Couldn't find anything.
I remember No Fear, and I remember that character.
Yeah, so sometimes I wonder if some things do get scrubbed from it.
I don't.
Some weird like Matrixy like shit where like we saw the cat walk across the street twice. Next thing you know, Shazam didn't exist anymore.
Why would they erase that out of all things?
I don't know. It's just like it makes you. What were they? What was? Is it one of those like governments or cover ups where they're like, we want you to look at this right here, the Shazam movie, while we go over here and do this with old Billy.
Okay, let's break this down real quick because this is the part I want to talk about the most. Okay, you have the government. Let's say they have some type of like neuralizer thing like Men in Black, and they can make everybody mass forget something. Or why the fuck would you pick the Sinbad movie? You could be like, this is how it would play out if the government really did have that, and then made 98% of the people forget something, but 2% of the people kind of remember it. It would go something like this: Jack Ruby. Who's Jack Ruby? Oswald. No, Oswald died in prison like in '98. What are you talking about? Nobody shot Oswald. That's what it would do. They're not sitting around in some cabal and deep in the Pentagon. You know, fuck Sinbad. Fuck Sinbad. Like, it's like that's not what happened. I don't know.
The only logical one I can think of is I did kind of read that there was in like 1994, Sinbad introduced like on TBS or something like that. The Sinbad and the Seven Sailors from whatever the 77 or something like that, and he dressed up in sort of a genie-like costume.
Yeah,
that's the most logical thing that I can see is just confusing. Anywhere from like a 4 to 8-year-old's mind in a sense at that time period.
yeah. And I don't know how many people genuinely believe it or just like to pretend to believe it, because you'll see people pass out that College Humor sketch as like evidence that he did in like, I think it was like 2000 whatever.
Yeah, it was like way later, 2017 or something.
Yeah. And it was a College Humor skit where he played a genie, and it was referencing the Mandela Effect thing. And I don't know, it's probably the most popular, element of the Mandela Effect at this point, because I mean, it's more popular than what it's named after. More people talk about this damn Shazam movie than the whole Nelson Mandela dying in prison versus, getting out of prison, whatever. So I don't know. It's ridiculous. But the two I give the most credit to, the two that are most compelling to me, is the Monopoly Man. Does he have a monocle or not?
I think it's because his head's round. That's why people probably think he has a monocle.
Yeah, well, I remember him having a monocle. And even in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, he grabs the monocle. I'm the Monopoly, whatever he says.
Yeah.
And so I remember that one. People say, no, he didn't have a monocle. And then the other one was the Fruit of the Loom. I remember the cornucopia. I remember the actual basket and the fruit coming out of it. And people say, no, there was never a fucking basket. There was a fucking basket.
No, there was a basket on that one.
Yeah. I'm adamant about that one.
See, I feel like that one's falling into that no fear thing where they've pulled that no fear. They've scrubbed that no fear character from the internet.
Yeah, but why, though?
I don't know. That's the weirdest thing. I think they want to erase it, like the '90s, like certain weird things from it. They're like trying stuff out here. Somebody went into like the computer. That's what they did, and they just pulled some files got kind of dropped and erased here. I don't know why they chose. I think they picked the Sinbad movie because they're like, here's the thing. Who's going to remember this Sinbad movie? Like, it's a good one to make a test run on. We're not going to pull a big movie like Lion King or something out of existence. Let's go.
So you're arguing it's a test run and it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, but people, because the main reason I think too is because you mentioned that there's a lot of people that like to run with this like fakely. Well, the weird thing is I can ask like once again like people like my friends and someone like that who were like probably totally out of like the zeitgeist of knowing any of like this stuff going on, and they're just gonna think back to like 1996 give or take and tell me that like, oh yeah, I remember watching the Sinbad movie. And they're not pulling anyone's leg. Like it really blew my friend Kyle's mind when I was telling him about that. Like.
I just feel like it overlaps. It's one of those things you can plant seed in somebody's mind by asking me that specific thing, and it seems so right
Yeah.
that it worked. Here's something I noticed, and I know we're talking about the Mandela Effect thing, but we just dove right in. So, um, remember when I was doing those little things on TikTok? It was like you were changing the channel on the television and whatever, those little things. I did several of them, and I did them from different years. I did 96. I think I did 94. I can't remember the years I did. 95. So a lot of the mid 90s I did. I think I did 97 one. Each one of them I did had Sinbad in it. He was in so many commercials
Yeah.
and he was everywhere so much that I had Sinbad. There was so much Sinbad that I was able to make a running joke where every time Sinbad would come up I would turn the channel quicker. And people were like, "Oh, why do you do Sinbad like that?" And I actually liked Sinbad. It was nothing against him. It was just funny to be like, "Hey, I'm Sinbad." Click, like every time it got less, I would turn the channel quicker. But it was, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's the Mandela Effect. There's compelling elements to it, but also, again, it was if the government had this power, it'd be like Building 7 didn't collapse on 9/11. It collapsed a month later. They had to demolish it because the ground was unstable. That's the kind of shit that they would do to us. Not, fuck, said to me, this Sinbad son of a bitch is really causing trouble. Or maybe Sinbad saw too much.
Yeah, maybe there's something he did see, He got into the JFK files or something like that, and they're like, we can't have this anymore. You're losing the movie.
What a worse guy to get find the truth out. Like, you're not going to take him seriously. It's like, there was a guy on the grass. No, he was over there. And shut up, Sinbad. You didn't lost it.
Yeah. Well, strangely, yeah, as I said, at the end of the day, I do legitimately remember watching that movie back.
Well, I'm jealous. I wish I remember it.
I wish I could tell you more about it, but then again, a lot of movies that if I saw them in the mid '90s and never saw them since then, I couldn't tell you a whole lot about. So I've just seen too many movies in my life. So sometimes the more movies you see, the more older stuff gets erased. But
yeah, I'll say this last thing: if it is real, if the Mandela Effect is real, my money is on the CERN Hadron Collider in 2012 when you turn that shit on. If anything's going to restart and mess up the timeline a little bit, it's going to be that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So now, do I think that happened? No. But that's,
yeah, it's not that logical. But if there was something of either, a timeline disruption, or literally some type of computer-like world that got interfered, the Sinbad movie at least gives some evidence to this.
Yeah. I need to go back to a real timeline where fucking Sinbad was everywhere. That's what I need. But you know what does exist?
Kazaam. Yeah, you can actually find this. Unlike Sinbad, well, that's a genie. Unlike, for some reason that No Fear guy. Unlike some of these other things out there, you know.
I think they tried it with Richard Simmons and it didn't work, and then he eventually died.
Yeah, and then told Pauly Shore he didn't want him to do the, movie about him.
Did you see that?
No, what'd you see? Did you see flash?
It said recording started.
Really? On my end, it's totally different. Yeah, maybe it's just the phone thing over there.
It must be. I think it said that last week, didn't it? And it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe yours is just getting a little late bloomer or something.
Yeah. I don't know. But Kazaam exists. And I do.
So you know why that said recording started? Because we were just about to talk about Kazaam, and they wanted us to erase that Sinbad and saying that exists.
Yeah, they don't want this out there, but
they don't want people talking about this.
Yeah, also did bring up the Kennedy assassination and 9/11. So
yeah, and the COVID conspiracy and all that stuff. It's all rolls into one.
Yeah, my personal FBI agent's like, shut the fuck up. And watch all the other in the focus. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to do this. But yeah, Kazaam existed. 1996. Shaq was fucking everywhere.
Yep.
We'll talk some more about that. But this, I remember watching this as a kid and I hated it. And then maybe this part of it, maybe we want Shazam to exist because this had potential. But there are things about this movie I like. I do think it's a little bit too hated.
Yeah, well, I think people want to hate it more for some reason. I think as well as movies, I think the concept's really great.
Yeah.
I think there's some elements in there that are good. There's some really goofy stuff in this movie. There's some weird things going on in here, and that kid, is always having a mental breakdown left and right. But
Yeah.
and yet he's got so much '90s attitude that he is like uncontrollable.
It's like he what didn't have a mother or father. The '90s just manifested him.
Yeah.
Like he's the way he dresses, the attitude, the hair, the little zingers he throws out. Very very '90s.
Yeah, he talks smack left. He literally talks smack to Shaq, like doesn't even see height. You know what I mean? Like if this was like a '70s movie and this like a little kid was talking to a guy that big, like that crappy,
Yeah. If I didn't
slap
know who Shaq
around,
was-
yeah.
yeah. If I didn't know who Shaq was and a 7-foot black man just started following me around everywhere, I'd be freaked the fuck out. Like I wouldn't be talking shit. I'd be like, "What do you want from me? I can do nothing to you. I have no chance." So yeah, I mean that's Shaq's a big dude. So, but yeah, no, this kid he didn't care. '90s attitude forever. He is the attitude era.
No, this movie kind of describes a lot of times like the way the '90s was about like how it had this whole like hip hop aesthetic and but all the clothes you're wearing super baggy and all this stuff, but nobody told you how white you really were.
Oh, it's painfully apparent how white everyone was when you go back and watch these movies when they try to rap. And that one, that little rap in this movie, we'll talk about more later. Compared to some of the other ones I've seen, that is like grade A, like that's Eminem quality compared to some of the other ones I've seen.
Yeah.
What's that one movie with the girl and she's got like wishes? It's not a Genie movie actually, but maybe it kind of is. But like it's the whitest thing you'll ever see. And I'll have to share it. I'm going to clip it in here just a little bit because it's just unreal. So by comparison, the Shazam rap is a little bit better. And Shaq, the thing is, he can actually rap pretty deep.
Yeah, he has rap albums.
Yeah, he has rap albums. And at that time, it was like even Kobe had one. Like all the basketball players were doing that, except for Jordan. I guess he was kind of above that, or
he didn't need that,
No. But Shaq fit perfectly in that. Like if Jordan would have started in the later '90s, you might have seen him do that some. But
that's probably true because if you think about Jordan, he's probably just that slight bit older that like he's kind of like maybe proto that rap era. Because sometimes you get some of those guys that if they're just a little bit before then, it's not really their thing,
He's an R&B guy, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just an R&B guy. Shaq, fit perfectly in that era, but he's got some good ones. I saw one just a few years ago. I'm like, this is pretty good. And my favorite one is, of course, Kobe had my ass taste. That's the best one. Where he was just freestyling at this club. It was, when he and Kobe were still beefing, and he won that championship. But he's like, "Hey, Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes." It's so funny. I love Shaquille O'Neal. It's I think they're my favorite athletes of all time. There's like Michael, Charles Barkley, and then Shaq.
Yeah.
And the fact that two of those are on a show together now, that's just gold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Shaquille O'Neal. He's everywhere. I think marketing wise, he's the closest we've ever had to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I think 100%. And the fact that like he's kept like extremely high in popularity the whole time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of sports stars where like they're really big for a moment, and then it's like 20 years later, like you see them on, they're like, oh, there's that guy, and somebody's like, who? They lose it. Like
Yeah.
and one of those ones where it's like, dude, at one point that guy was one of the biggest, and now it's not so much. But Shaq's that one. He's always in the limelight still. He's always had cool products. A lot of times they'll pop up and they won't last for a long time. Like you said, those soda shacks, those things were super awesome. They were like big old sodas and just like cream soda and like strawberry cream and orange cream, which is the best one.
Yeah. I don't remember those. I do remember there are Shaq gummies in stores right now.
I did see those. I kind of wanted to try those out.
Yeah, I think I might do that soon. I should have got a pack of them for this. But yeah, I mean, he also invests really well. Like the Ring camera, he had a lot to do with the Ring camera being brought to the market. In terms of like in a mass way and becoming popular. So he's a good businessman, but yeah, I'm pro Shaq, man. Like he's so funny. He's got great stories. And And he had this movie, he had Steel, he had Blue Chips, and one of them was good.
Well, you can almost say he has a proto Marvel or a DC movie, kind of like in a time period where other than Batman, that's about kind of it.
Yeah, I will say this about the '90s: they tried to do like you had your big one, you had Batman over here, and then all the other comic book movies were either like fringe stuff, like
Or
Men
really
in
old
Black.
things.
Yeah, like Men in Black, you didn't know was a comic book for most people, unless you were like a comic collector.
Yeah, because that one's like it's like such a rare company. It's like you're not just gonna go find that on the spinner rack.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, most people didn't. Ninja Turtles, a lot of people didn't know was a comic
No,
book back
because
then.
unless you ran into those guys physically, like at a Comic-Con, you would have never saw that.
Right. So they did a lot of interesting stuff with comic books back then, and this one has a kind of a comic book element to it, like a superhero element. The way they kind of treat them in this movie,
Yeah,
a larger than life thing. But I guess before we dive into the review, because I'm ditching to talk about this movie, I guess we should do the tale of the tape.
I think so.
All right, let's get it back to a little bit of structure. We let ADHD run the first half of the show. And no, we have a little bit of structure, but not much because this is via VHS. That's not how we do things here.
There we get wild.
Yeah, get so wild. So let's bring you to our gimmicky segment so we can get things in check. Tale of the tape. If you never heard this segment, it's where we go back to the week the movie was released and we look at pop culture surrounding the movie, mainly the box office. I didn't write anything else down. It's the box office this week. That's what we're going to look at. You remember 1996?
Yes, I do. It's a good year.
It was a great year.
Yeah,
great year. So yeah, Kazaam released on July 17th, 1996. The second movie we've reviewed in the past month or two that's been directed by Paul Glaser.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too. I was like, oh, it's the dude, the Running Man, which is Starsky, from Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah,
I was just like, that's interesting. It's funny because I was kind of looking. He's got like all of 6 movies, and like half of them are like kind of urban sports movies, if not more of them actually. I think the Running Man's the most unique thing he has.
Yeah,
everything else is like a basketball movie. I think he's got like a hockey movie. He's got one just about like urban youth. Starsky was really trying to be like, I've seen some things. I was a police officer for many years. You were on a TV show. Close enough.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm with it. All right. So yeah, directed by Starsky is the director of this. You have Shaq and Kobe, Starsky and Hutch. That's how it is.
Yep.
Movie stars Shaquille O'Neal, Francis Capra, which I'm really disappointed isn't related to Frank Capra. How fun that? Yeah,
exactly. Frank would have been really happy if his son's working this, or his whatever grandson.
Yeah, grandson. Let's talk about this cast because hold on to your butts. Okay, Ali Walker, James Akerson, and John Costello with an E for some reason at the end. You don't know any of those people.
No, but there is cameos and stuff in this movie that do kind of stand out.
Look, what did I miss?
There's like Spinnerella's in here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, things like that. There's just like those moments and so on from Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, it's a little hip. It's definitely got a hip hop vibe to it, and they kind of stick with that pretense sometimes, and then sometimes completely abandon it. It's weird how that goes because when you first meet Shazam, he's speaking in rhymes. I'm like, this is gonna get old really fucking quick.
Yeah, is he gonna talk like this the whole time?
Yeah. And he's doing a bad job. You can tell in the middle of his lines, he's trying to make sure he hits every word of the line because it's like, getting away from him. But I love Shaq, so I'm not going to say too much about him. But you know who else had something bad to say? Everyone fucking else, because this movie has a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't know how it has that low. Let's be honest. It's not that low. Like,
it's pretty egregious to be that low. I think it was such an easy target.
I think that's it, I think that it's just one of those ones, like, it's like a punching bag that people are just going to go after. And I think a lot of times there's a lot of people that vote on that never really saw the movie, too. I think that kind of happens a lot.
Sometimes. I mean, but this is the critics, this is people who wrote, this is Ebert.
Well, let's be honest. The critics have to go see so many movies. I think when they see stuff like this just puts them over the edge.
Well, I think also, too, when you're like, you're famous from another medium or profession like basketball, and you try to cross over.
And,
Sometimes it's just like, fuck you. Yeah, who do you think you are?
yeah,
And it's like,
it's like Michael Jordan playing baseball. They went so hard on him for that too, and I thought that was so cool that he did that.
yeah, yeah.
I think someone was like, yeah, why not? Try something else.
Well,
More people did though.
his tomato score for baseball would have been pretty low as well.
Yeah,
He would have eventually made the pros. But anyway, yeah. So 5% tomato score, 21% audience score. This movie didn't do well there. Didn't do what the box office. It had $18.9 million budget. That's before marketing, made about $20 million. So after marketing, probably
really
not
quickly.
This.
What's the Sinbad Shazaam?
Oh yeah, let's find that out. Somebody please tell me what that is.
I bet you that one's a lot higher.
I bet it would have been. Yeah, they would have been friendlier to Sinbad than they were to Shaq. Although Shaq, I don't think is that bad in this movie.
No, I don't think so either. I just think he's given some goofy parts that he just has to work with. I think that's kind of what it is.
I agree. And it starts off bad, so he doesn't start off well. So as the movie goes on, he gets a little bit more comfortable, and I think they understood what to do with him a little bit more. But I think the way it starts, the first impression is not very good. So you're like, oh, fuck this shit. So the box office, 18.9 million. Had a lot of competition. They opened this right up in the middle of summer. This is a spring break movie. Okay.
Yeah, and I hate to sort of say this is one of those movies like if you're going to the theaters, like you have a lot of choices that you could go to right now.
Yeah,
and you're probably not going to Kazaam.
Yeah, that's why it opened seventh. Seventh at the box office. Little movie at the number one at the box office this week. I knew it was going to be before I even looked it up. I knew what was number one right now. I just knew Independence Day.
Yeah, and that one doesn't matter if it's been out for a little bit. It's still just sucking people in.
Yeah, equally as dumb, but way more enjoyable.
Yeah, but like one of the best disaster movies.
Yeah, I don't know what this says about me. But I do acknowledge its dumbness. But that's probably a top 5 most watched movie for me.
Yeah, I see it a lot too, especially back in the day. It's just you saw it all the time, and it was one of those ones. If it popped up on a channel, you just kind of turned it on. You went with it.
Yeah, there's something just Roland Emmerich had a way to draw people in. I don't know what it was, but man, we got to review that movie maybe this summer because
I think so. And I like Roland Emmerich a lot. I don't care what people say. I think he makes a lot of good movies at the end of the day.
Oh, he's thought of fun stuff. Are you kidding me? Like,
The Patriot. Come on, Universal Soldier. There's too many good ones that he's got. I even like the '98 Godzilla one. So
the '98 Godzilla has its moments. Overall, I don't like it, but it has some really good moments. Like, if they would have let him cook a little bit more, I think it would have been better. And also, Matthew Broderick, an action star, please. I like Matthew Broderick, but can we get someone else? Anybody else? Independence Day is number 1 at the box office. Number 2, Phenomenon.
Yeah, which was a huge movie at the time.
Yeah, we're still in the Travolta-sance. He's still kind of back, after Pulp Fiction and all that. He's riding that wave again. He's always been an up and down kind of guy. I think he's down. I think he's staying there now. But he's had his pops, and this was definitely one of them.
Yep.
Courage Under Fire.
Yep.
Never seen it.
I know I've seen parts of it back in the day. That's definitely like one of those ones that like just would have been on TV and so on, or like my parents were watching or something like that. But I couldn't tell you. Just like the Sinbad one, I don't remember it. Maybe it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Maybe it was straight to video. Another big one, Nutty Professor.
Yep, which is humongous as well.
Humongous. Rounding out the rest, you got The Frighteners, Multiplicity, which is open the same week as Kazaam, somehow finished. If Multiplicity beats you, then it's not going well. And then Kazaam, 7. And you still got other, Hunchback of Notre Dame still around, Harriet the Spy, Eraser.
Yeah. There's quite a few stuff.
Yeah. So just
even The Rock and Mission Impossible are still kind of hanging in there a little bit.
Yeah. So it wasn't the best time to release this movie, but also then if you want kids to go see it, You know what I
I
mean?
guess
Like,
Harriet the Spy was your biggest competition, realistically,
yeah,
because that's
yeah,
coming out. That's the other big kids movie that once again was one of those movies was huge when it came out. Nowadays it's kind of like sort of a forgotten gem, but
yeah. You know how many parents had to walk by like Independence Day or like one of these other cool movies, like let's see fucking Kazaam, this fucking Genie movie, and maybe I remember this wrong, but I don't think a lot of parents liked Shaq at the beginning.
maybe
Like
I don't know.
my mom, one of the sweetest people on planet Earth. Now she was, I've said this before, big basketball fan. When she watched college basketball, she watched NBA. She didn't watch the other sports as much, but she loved basketball. Could not stand Shaq. And I'm like, I don't understand how. I'm like, Mom, there he is giving out turkeys on Thanksgiving. I think he's cocky. He's arrogant. I'm like, he's 7 foot tall and like could dunk from like anywhere. I mean, I'd be cocky too. I mean, come on. And we got
Was he a Rodman fan?
only kind of, yeah, because he played with Michael and he played, because she's the big, she love Michael. He's a Tar Heel. So we're a Michael Jordan household. Okay, we're drinking Gatorade. We got our Wheaties. We got our Hanes. Like but I like Shaq a lot. I had a Shaq. I still have somewhere a Shaq rookie card that have a little plastic
Oh,
thing.
badass.
Yeah, I love Shaquille O'Neal. I had a Shaq T-shirt.
Old Shaq Fu on Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't have it, but Alex had it. My buddy Alex had it. Yeah, he had it. I want to say he had it on Genesis though. No, he didn't.
Oh yeah, it was on Genesis as well too. So yeah.
He did have it on Super Nintendo though. Now I think about it, because he didn't have a Genesis, but I think when he brought his Super Nintendo over a few years ago, he still had Shaq Fu. And wasn't there a Michael Jackson one, or is that?
Yeah, there's Michael Jackson Moonwalker on. No, that's a real game.
Okay.
On Sega Genesis.
I think he had that too.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Is that on Sega though? You said?
Yeah, it's Sega. It's literally like one of like the early days of Genesis before like even Super Nintendo's out.
Maybe I'm thinking of them together because I think they're like the same game, but they're just like they just took the engine and just you know what I mean, because they flew way similar. But yeah, man, Shaq flew like everywhere was Shaq. I mean, this is the time he was breaking the backboards and stuff. It was just Shaq mania.
Especially for like the later days of like NBA Jam, like on the N64, like he was always on all those covers. Like once you get past like Dennis Rodman and all that stuff, then it's like Shaq's the main guy of that.
Yeah, oh, definitely. That was his thing. But Akeem Olajuwon was better. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Controversial take, but not really. So let's go ahead and jump into our rewind review.
I think so.
So, again, Kazaam. I'm going to accidentally call this Shazam. I might have already done it.
I know. See, and I think that might be part of it too. It's just because it's that weird fusion. You have, of course, Shazam with like the DC character, Captain Marvel kind of thing. You have that weird Shazam show from like Hanna-Barbera. Do you remember watching that too as a kid? I think it was like a 70s or 60s like Hanna-Barbera one, where it's like a couple goofy kids, that go to the Middle East or whatnot, and a couple white kids that go to the Middle East, get a genie, get a magic carpet, ride a camel. I think there's a talking camel.
Yeah, I love it when my friends skip school. We skip school and we go to the Middle East. Oh my gosh.
It was the 70s. The Middle East was fun. It was like a child's playground.
Yeah. You know what? It's not now.
I don't think it was in the 70s either.
I don't think. Maybe Iran. Yeah, had some shit going on in the 70s. But yeah, whatever. No, I don't remember that one. But I mean, I do remember Sinbad. I remember all the other stuff, and it makes sense how this would work. I mean, I totally get why people think that. Plus, Shazam is a better name.
Well, I felt like they used the name Kazam because they couldn't use Shazam. I'm
Right.
assuming it was one of those things because Shazam would have been owned by DC at the moment, you know, or that. Well, the Shazam that's Warner Brother or not Warner Brothers, but Hanna Barbera spelled funny, you know, just the way that Kazam sort of spelled funny as well too.
Yeah, it was Shazam, I think, or something like that, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just I think it has an N in it instead. It's not Shazam, Shazam. Like once again, everybody's trying to get around that.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. Um, but yeah, so this movie released middle of 1996. Definitely did not see this in theaters. I 100% saw this on VHS, and I actually vaguely remember renting this. It was like a big, I think it was around Christmas. I might be wrong. Might have been around Christmas break, or might have been, earlier the next year. But I remember ordering, like, we went to Blockbuster and just got a bunch of rentals because we didn't end up at Blockbuster much because we had two like local ones in our town. But I remember we were in Statesville and it's because we were going to church, and we would stop by that area to get food, and let's get a couple VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I remember renting this movie, and I was like, wow, this is terrible. But it's so 90s, has every 90s kid movie trope. He's got a cool hideout.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a big thing when I was a kid. Like, all my friends, we always had hideouts.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, like
Yeah.
everybody's house had a different one, so on like that. Sometimes you would just go to like there was literally a house that we went to and we just hung out at the pool because the people were never there. That was
Wow. That's awesome.
I mean, did that a bunch of times too. You know, because this is the days before cameras and all that kind of stuff. I think about that as a kid nowadays. You can't just go sneaking around and just walk into other people's like backyards anymore like you used to.
Oh, we have everybody in our neighborhood has a ring cam. We have I hate this neighborhood. I really do. I genuinely hate living here sometimes. We have, like, everybody has ring cameras except for us. And they'll be like some kid like ringing a doorbell and running off, and then they'll post it on like the Facebook group, like the community Facebook group. Whose kid is this? And it's like he looks like Bigfoot walking. It's like, I'm like, come on, y'all. And like, some cat left transgressions in our flower garden. Whose cat left transgressions? I'm like, y'all need to chill out.
See, I won't ring that ring bell when I go to someone's house. If I have to knock on, or if I have to like knock on the door or whatever, I knock on the door like a police officer. I don't ring that bell. No, I'm like, no, because what the ring tells me is that you're probably not home. I'm like, the knock's going to tell me if you're home or not.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you as you're driving to God knows where.
Yeah. I kind of hate ring cameras. It's funny we're bringing this up because of Shaq, because somebody delivered the wrong package to our house a while back, and it was like 4 miles off. They were like, so I went to this neighborhood I'd never been to before and went to leave it at the house, and I could see on the box it was medical supplies, so it was clearly an elderly person about the things that they were ordering. And I'm like, man, if I ring this doorbell, they're gonna be like, what's this kid got our medical stuff? What's going on? What kind of scam is this running? So I hit the little ring thing. I'm like, hi. Oh, it said don't knock on the door. I'm like, so I had to ring the ring thing. Like, hi.
You should have just knocked as hard as possible.
They're like, I got your stuff. I don't know why I have it, but
I'm bringing it back. I'm doing the neighborly thing.
Yeah, even though you live like 4 neighborhoods over. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, ring cameras. But yeah, all kids had like a hideout. I had one in the woods. It was this creek. We found this one rock that was really slidey, and you could slide down to the creek.
Yeah.
And my friends and I hung out there a little bit. And but even before Hangover, we were the Wolfpack Club.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, we used to even hang out in mines and so on like that too.
Oh, you told me that before. That's fucking wild, man. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, we used to just go into 1800s like mines that would just be like left there, and we go spelunking and whatnot, and you like drag things in there and make it kind of like a clubhouse in a sense, so you could just have things in the mine shaft.
That's wild. Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, I was definitely exposed to asbestos, but I don't know if I did anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a very 90s kids movie. I mean, it's got the kid with attitude. There's some type of domestic situation that's not like scary, but like, mom and dad are divorced, or like mom and dad are separated, but you want to get back together, or there's a new stepdad. And he's always like the great guy. Like he's always like, hey, let me know when let me know when you want to talk. He's like, fuck you, bitch, get out of my life. You know my dad. It's like,
Yeah, this guy's doing nothing wrong. He's a
yeah.
firefighter.
He is bumping his mom, but
Yeah, there is that. He made
yeah,
the kid walked in on it once, and it was awkward.
probably
And
did.
he was dressed like a firefighter, so it made it weirder.
Yeah, now you and he comes to talk to other kids at the school. He's like, I know what you did in that hat. Get out of here. I know what you did.
You got the
Yeah.
bullies. That's another big '90s thing. I feel like that's something that doesn't exist anymore. Is like real bullies, not internet bullies. Like
Yeah,
they're like physical bullies.
yeah. No, these bullies are scary, man. Like for that kid, like these bullies, like look, they all kind of scary, but they also look like just in sync. Like a few years later.
Yeah, they got a lot of boy bandness going on too, and they're like multicultural as well too.
Yeah,
Gang.
and the one kid with the like the blondish hair, like he was the main guy. He was the like, am I original? Yeah. So like they were definitely like a boy band because they looked hard in 1996, but like if you go to like 1998, they're definitely like on Disney Channel and like
Yeah,
wearing the exact same clothes with the exact same mustaches.
yeah, exactly. Nothing's changed. And then by album 3, nobody's buying it anymore.
If nobody's buying anymore. The main guy, the guy with the blonde hair, platinum hair, he's already broke off solo.
Yep.
Putting together an album with Timbaland, that's how it goes. So, yeah, but the bullies were kind of scary. So here's what Shazam is. If you never, sorry, Kazam. See, I did it. I saw
It was bound to happen.
It's bound to happen. What Kazam is a marketing vehicle for Shaquille O'Neal. It is basically, I think this was made because Space Jam was made. It's like, or it was in works. I don't know. I don't know which one came out first.
Well, Starsky wanted to make another basketball movie. I did hear that. So he was shopping this thing around, and somehow, some way, he took his kid to like a basketball game, and Shaq was there, and they got to talking. That always happens. And then he mentioned them. He's like, "Hey, I got a movie. Maybe you should join in." And then they kind of started, workshopping it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, 90s NBA was so effing huge.
Yeah,
Everywhere. Anything it touched was gold. Like it could cross over into music, it could cross over into movies. I mean, I don't think I remember like NFL's always consistently gotten bigger, but NASCAR and NBA are the two sports where I remember having a very like some halcyon days, like a very specific era, which was really bigger. And NBA, it was like from when Jordan won that first championship up and through all the 6 championships he won, up until about 2000, 2001. That was the era of NBA that was just untouchable. Like it was just so big. And Shaq was like the perfect star to come along at that time. And he was really, really big when Jordan had did that first retirement too. So it was just, you couldn't help but try to get, these people in there. And plus the hip hop was rising. So there was a lot of correlation between NBA and hip hop. And it was just, if you threw NBA into a movie or basketball into a movie, we've talked about this 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
They did it all the time in the 90s. But if you can get an NBA player, then you're set.
Yeah. No. That's the thing is it was ginormous. I feel like football kind of had like the beginning and the end of the 90s, but like that whole midsection especially. NBA was the dominant sport,
Definitely from a pop culture perspective too, 100%.
Yeah.
Like it just, like they had those movies like that Little Giants movie and they had the NFL players crossover. I've always been a football fan and I played Pee Wee football at that time. So that meant more to me at that time. But as a whole, NBA was crossing over way more. And Shaq was just like the perfect, like when he was breaking those backboards, everyone's like, oh, shit, what the fuck is this? Like, it was the craziest shit ever. So, yeah, I mean, Shaquille O'Neal was perfect. So, now we have, I think they just threw it out there randomly. Like, yeah, he should be a genie. And they just said, yeah, let's strike all the irons hot, make this fucker a genie. Let's make some money.
Starsky wants to make a basketball movie. So,
yeah. Yeah, and he could be a genie, and then we'll figure it out. Like, what do we do? Like, just copy Aladdin. Kind of copy
that was
Aladdin.
popular.
Yeah, Aladdin was popular. Throw that in there, and like if you want to make it different, like find some little Middle Eastern like mythology and kind of like shove it in there, which they did kind of well.
Yeah, they
You
fit it
know,
in there.
yeah, expanded on the genie element, and yeah, there you go. You have this
Dude,
marketing machine.
yeah, they got the old fashioned Middle Eastern tradition of having a genie in a boombox.
Yeah. Well, I did appreciate how the genie could move to different things. Like he was a compass, he says,
Yeah.
and he was inside a radiator. I think he said he was, and then he was inside the boombox, which is the most '90s thing ever.
Well, it is the most 90s thing because a boombox was a cherished piece of electronics to have.
Oh
If
yeah,
you had a good boombox, you were on. It didn't matter who you were. That was a thing that you needed to have, especially
you
like a
had.
kid. Like you had to have that good sound system in your house. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you're gonna play your cassettes or your CDs or anything like that. It was a must.
Yeah, I was the worst about that. I never like. I was so far behind everybody with that. First of all, the music I listened to was just not in or cool at the time. Like my dad only listened to like country music, and that's what I predominantly listened to. And then when I did listen to music, I'm like, hey, what are you listening to, 12-year-old Wesley? Oh, I'm listening to Jimmy Buffett's greatest hits. You want to join in? Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh man, it's amazing. I ever had.
You're probably really popular with the college kids.
Yeah, no, I will not with them either. Somehow, like I don't know. I didn't really start getting along with people till like into my 20s, and that's when I could make friends. Because other than that, I was like, he's kind of weird. I mean, like I am.
Well, in the '90s, I just had movie soundtracks. That was the only thing I had. Like that was like what I listened to as a kid. So I mean, I had everything from like Men in Black soundtrack to Last Action Hero soundtrack to Space Jam soundtrack, of course, and that was about it. That was it. Like I had like the horror movie soundtrack one that had just like a compilation of different things. So I just had just a bunch of weird soundtrack type things.
Yeah, that flies in California. It doesn't fly in North Carolina. But yeah, all he listens to is movie scores. Well, he's one of them candle guys, if you know what I'm saying. Uh, he, like, he likes candles, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I don't know, but I did love NBA. I did love '90s basketball, and this was the perfect movie. But yeah, so they throw Shaq in this movie, and they kind of just contrive a little genie story, but I don't know. The movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It's silly, but it's a good kids movie. It's just a fun, lighthearted, turn off your brain movie that, as an adult, is maybe hard to get through sometime and very annoying at times. But as a kid, this shit was like great. The reason I didn't like it is because I didn't like the kid.
Where the kids, he's not terrible, but he's still got a little too much problems.
Yeah.
He's always bitching like the whole movie. It's like and nobody like the parents don't really do anything wrong. Well, I guess the real dad's a little bit of a dick, but like
No, he's terrible.
yeah, he's pretty bad. He lets the kids like in front of like the whole like grouping or whatnot. He's got to show them off for a split second, but the second he's behind closed doors, forget it. You're out of here, boy. I'm dropping you off on the street at midnight.
Well, you take the genie element out, it's basically a sitcom episode.
That or a very hard drama.
Yeah, very hard drama, or like a two-parter sitcom episode, like the Will Smith one where he meets his dad.
Yeah,
Like Fresh
yeah.
Prince. Yeah, he's like, "Why don't you want me, man?" That's basically what this movie is. It's like,
I think it gets kind of emotional, even though it's a sitcom for a moment.
yeah, yeah. And this kid, he just does this all the time.
Yeah,
It's
that
like-
and like he has like there's like no discipline, so he just like storms out of the house like whatever. I'm gonna go cruise New York. See you, mom.
yeah. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the thing that really, but okay. I got to go out a lot more than I'm probably gonna let my kids go out because it's just the world we live in. And everyone's like, well, everything's more safe nowadays. I'm like, yeah, that's because we don't let our kids roam around like we used to.
Yeah. We don't just go roam around in people's backyards and go to their pools when they're not there.
Right.
It's because they don't have Ring cameras.
Yeah, like my son today was like, can one of my friends come over to our house? I'm like, yeah, well, I'm gonna have to meet their parents, and they're gonna want to meet me for sure because this is not how it is. It's like,
Yeah,
remember,
yeah, you got to sign some papeperwork and so on like that. You got to get a lawyer involved.
yeah. And I remember I said, hey, can my friend, like, I had this kid at school I was friends with, can he come spend the night? And then my mom was like, yeah, he can come spend the night. And his mom was like, yeah, get that fucker out of my house for a day.
Yeah, that's how it was. There wasn't a whole lot of. You just be like, "Mom, I got a friend coming on over," and that was like about it.
Yeah.
You could invite a criminal over and like they wouldn't like know the difference.
Yeah. So the roaming around thing was just like, I mean, I would get on my bike and I would go out into the woods. I would like go to the school and ride around because we had like a track and a basketball court and all that kind of fun stuff there. And I lived like right by it. So, but I would like, go to the school, go down. I would ride my bike through the little southern town of Troutman and, have fun. And we'd have friends and I'd get in a little bit of trouble, but nothing too bad. But this little fucker's running around New York City.
Yeah. You got a
And
lot
I
of
see
freedom.
other movies where they do that too. Like the kids just like, I'm going to get on the subway.
It probably was pretty common. I mean, I remember being I
guess.
was a little bit older and just being like we went to San Francisco with my buddy's parents and so on like that. And we just literally went out walking. We were like probably 10 years old or something like that, maybe 11 or something like that, maybe slightly older. And yeah, we just went out. We just went out walking. We just like we got like $20 in our pocket. Let's go cruise San Francisco. Go walking around Chinatown and everything like that. And we did the thing where we just jumped on a trolley. You just jump on the back of them, and it's like if they say something, you just jump off. But like you didn't pay for it or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What are they gonna do? You know what I mean? It's it was the early 2000s. You're like a young kid. Like they're not gonna see it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
They know you probably don't have $6 to get on that trolley.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this kid's running around New York, just, unsupervised all day long. And so, be back when the streetlights come on, that kind of attitude. But yeah, so the kid's upset. He's angsty. He's angsty 90s kid. And they're tearing this building down. He's running from the NSYNC bullies. He finds the lamp. There's Shaq. And basically the whole movie, he's got 3 wishes, and the kid is terrible at wishes.
Well, yeah, the concept of wishes. He never saw Aladdin or any of this stuff, so he doesn't have any like this built-in knowledge of like what they're supposed to do. He didn't see that Popeye special, from way back in the day.
No, he is even worse than Aladdin. Aladdin at least is like, yeah, I want to get some bitches, so I need a lot of money.
Yeah, he's like, well, really, it's just one I want, but
yeah,
she's a rich girl, so I need to impress her.
Yeah. So and he has his priorities straight. This kid's like, let me save my dad who doesn't love me.
Yeah, but first let me get some give me a bunch of fast food.
Which sucks because he kind of wastes his first wish just trying to prove a point. Like this guy's not a genie, and then like, oh shit. But that you never see that candy again, and you never see the hideout again.
No, is that probably because it's so nasty because it rained down a bunch of like Taco Bell and like nasty looking burgers and something like that. It probably smells the high heavens in there.
Yeah, this burger.
Probably a bunch of rats running around.
Yeah, that was just the worst wish ever. I would have cleaned house on that candy though.
Oh, I was too. At least would have stuffed your backpack full at the
end
end of the day.
Oh yeah, maybe 2 backpacks.
Yeah.
Trash bag.
Yeah. You could have paid off those bullies with that candy, let's be honest.
Yeah. And then they do like this little break dance and, choreographed dance move. Oh, yeah. So, and that's basically the movie. He's trying to meet his dad. Turns out his dad's, what is he? Is he a record executive?
Something
a club
like
owner? Like it's so hard to figure out what these bad guys are doing. Do they own a club and they're like promoting the club, or they have these artists and then have a record label? But then there's also somehow, I love how like you're in the like climax of the movie and he's running around. He's like, "What are those, Dad?" He's like, "Those are black market CDs. Keep running."
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this operation? I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, it's just he's probably working under P. Diddy or something like that right here.
If they're all dressed in white, go to another room. Do not go in that room. What's all this baby oil for? Shut up. Get out of here.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, somehow, some way that they're involved in some kind of bootlegging of CDs, which goes to show that this is like that, time period where, having the power of CDs is, you could be a multimillionaire from this.
Yeah, it's like they're creating LimeWire.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, his dad works for LimeWire. No, it's just, the whole thing is silly. And then you're introduced to this like Indian bad guy who, for some reason, are like, how do we portray this guy? Oh, let's pretend he's in Temple of Doom, but also not. So he's like eating like monkey eyeballs and shit.
Yeah, he's got those goat eyes. And for some reason, Kazaam, because he's got the ancient wisdom, knows about all these things. And
Yeah. Yeah, I used to eat these with my homie back in the day, back in Mesopotamia. We used to eat these monkey eyeballs. Of course, we didn't have modern, food then, so why the fuck are you doing it? But whatever.
in a limo of all things.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The guy had a cool ponytail though.
Yeah. Got a mustache too. He's rocking
Yeah,
that.
you don't see. I mean, I don't mean this in a bad. You don't see a lot of those guys with ponytails.
No, not as
No,
much.
no, not as much. So that was really cool. And he just kind of shows up in the middle of the movie and like just
Yeah, for a while there, you don't even know who this guy is. He's just okay. Here he is. He's
yeah.
trying to hire Kazam to be the next new rap sensation.
Yeah, and he's at this club, and it's a like kind of a dance club, but then he's also eating dinner, and his dinner's like carrots and like broccoli that really bothered me. I'm like, this is so out of place. They just threw some random food on the place and then microwaved it, and they're like, here, this is your dinner. And I'm like, this is not what they would serve at a club. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This is like,
there's like weird vegan clubs or something like.
yeah, this is like, yeah, this like,
They got a statement going on here. PETA's involved. They're sponsoring
yeah.
it.
It just was not the food bothered me. It really did. If something's gonna piss me off in the movie, it's the choice of food. Fuck, he's fucking eating these like microwave carrots and broccoli in the middle of this club with this rap concerts going on. Whatever.
See, and once again, this movie's filled with a bunch of weird looking food. Like that's like part of its theme. I mean, from like the fast food falling all over the ground that's all nasty, to even like that weird rice plate the dude's eating at the end that has like it looks like that undercooked chicken or whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, another 90s staple in this movie: a plethora of Pepsi.
Yes,
Uh,
all over. People are drinking the Pepsi.
Brought to you by Pepsi. Yeah, no, yeah. There was like right at the very beginning, he stomps on a Pepsi can. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then there was another one, and then there was one in the fridge, and I think I saw four.
Yeah, there was a few. There was a couple at like the record studio, CD studio, whatever the hell you want to call that.
Yeah, like they were at the party, and they're like, everybody's drinking Cristal. No, we got Pepsi. And it was in the classic look. It was like
Yeah.
it was a good 90s look right there. So, but yeah, it's 90s. It's Generation Next when you're getting that Pepsi ads, right? Because they're trying to appeal to the youth.
Yeah, you got to have that, and then you got to have a BMX in there too. Because if you're not gonna, you got skateboarding, so it's like that's what it is. And this kind of leading in, BMX is kind of coming back hard because the late '90s BMX becomes more of a thing again.
Out of nowhere too, because I remember we were all mountain bike kids. Like we'd go into the woods because I had a bunch of trails behind my house.
Well, yeah, I lived in the mountains too, so BMX wasn't really a thing because everybody had mountain bikes. You couldn't do a whole lot of a BMX bike up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. So I was a mountain bike kid, and I was like always on trails and stuff. And then all of a sudden, all the little city dwellers, they, which I wasn't in the city. I was in like the mean streets of Troutman, North Carolina. But there was a lot of places to ride a BMX bike. So those kids weren't going into the woods. They were out there with their little pegs on their wheels.
Yeah, do little side grinds and everything like that.
Never saw any of those fuckers do that. It was just hair gel and bad attitudes and these bikes, and they never could do any tricks on them. None of them.
No, they're like the bullies from like Jack Frost. Probably they look like those kids.
Yeah, they were just it was just like they had like they're the ones later who had the Jinko jeans.
Yeah, they probably wore the No Fear shirts with the dude on it that doesn't exist anymore.
1,000%. Yeah, cigarette burns on their arms. So like being bullies.
Yeah, exactly.
I sorry, had to step away for a second. We had like my oldest was having a nightmare and screaming, and now I can't remember what we were talking about, but it was the 90s and it was basketball and it was Shaquille O'Neal. But
yeah, I think he was having a nightmare about something from the 90s too. It seems like.
I think so too. So Sonic the Hedgehog, which he's got this nice little mini arcade cabinet now.
There we go.
I let it stay in here, but yeah, it's this movie. Look, Kazaam is a 90s time capsule, has all the 90s tropes in it. Shaq is fun, and they try to bring in some of that Genie lore in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say they have like a nice little Shaq starts out rapping, so there's a big huge element to this. And then the first time you see him, it's like everything is in like rhyme.
Yeah.
and it's not very good. And I think a lot of people when they say, "Okay, I stopped watching that movie," that's when they stop watching it. Because Shaq at that very beginning, it does not make a good first impression. And then they kind of abandoned some of that stuff. And Shaq is very charismatic, very funny, very likable.
Yeah, even though he is, there is some things that like if there was an outsider watching this, it would look really weird because there's the parts where he's like creeping along on the streets and whatnot, like watching this like little 12-year-old boy or whatnot from a distance. He brings him ice cream and thing.
Yeah.
There's one scene for some reason he's running across the street and his pants are coming down as he's chasing the kid. It's like if you just saw that from an onsider, like, what is going on here? He wakes. It's so like '90s, like it's okay. He like literally wakes up in bed with this kid.
Yeah.
Decides to take a shower in the kid's room.
Yeah. Yeah, like out of context, it even sounds way worse than it is, but it doesn't play that bad.
No, movie wise, it's not going for that. Starsky probably didn't even cross his mind that was weird.
Yeah, yeah. This is also the '90s, and people were just figuring out about Michael Jackson.
Yes, I said this is like that one that, like, you could have had a movie. It's just a couple years beforehand where Michael did all these same things, and nobody would have questioned it. And then,
yeah, and then later they would have been like,
maybe that Genie movie that Michael was in, we should have questioned a little bit more.
Oh my gosh, no, don't be so wish on that. So yeah, no, this movie has some weird elements to it, and it's some weird CGI that was somehow actually kind of good in a way.
Yeah, it wasn't that for 1996. It wasn't that bad because that's a lot of times the things is people will kind of go, like, "Oh, the CG kind of sucked." I'm like, dude, take yourself back to 1996 and then kind of reevaluate it. And it's like, no, it's actually not too shabby for what it is.
Yeah, the flying French toast was fun.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. That was different. I'll say this as per example. Have you ever seen that in any other movie before?
Flying French toast? No.
No, yeah, exactly.
I know it's the same fuckers that worked on Flubber though.
It definitely had that flubber look to it for sure.
It did. It all of it had that flubber look to it. And when he's doing his like ears with the towels and he makes the floppy ears things, that's all. When I think of this movie, that's the image I think of is that.
Yeah.
And by the middle of the movie, Shaq was pretty funny. It was starting to really work. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun little movie. If you watch this movie, watch it for the fact that it's a '90s time capsule. And I don't want to spoil the ending, but I mean, it gets very convoluted. The dad's an asshole, and gets a second chance, even though he clearly doesn't deserve it.
No, he's got like no saving grace. I don't know. This kid really likes his dad for some reason, though he knows nothing about him. He does not like his stepdad, though the guy seems like a real great guy. It's not the kind of guy that would take you out to pizza and play NBA Jam with you.
Yeah.
Take you to a radar movie,
Yeah. Don't tell your mom, dude. We're going to go watch this slasher film. All right, let's go. Yeah, he's definitely that guy. He's definitely, he even says to him, he goes, I ain't trying to be a dad. I'm trying to be a friend. And he's like, okay. Which also sounds creepy out of context, but
whatever. He's gonna go take him to go see Scream. It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna. He's gonna have a great late '90s.
Yeah.
But
plus he's got that firefighter money. You know what I mean? Like, think about it.
In New York too.
Yeah.
Now I could think of about 5 years from now that could be a perilous situation being a firefighter in New York. But
or his dad's gonna be the champ of all dads.
Yeah. Oh man, by the way, I'm not bashing this guy. It really shocked me. Did you see his screenshot on IMDb? The kid?
What, the kid? Yeah, he looks almost like a tough guy now.
Yeah. Like I thought, are those teardrops?
Yeah, it's like, well, all of a sudden he looks like he just got out of prison. Like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't get that last wish. Didn't really last long enough, and some shit went down.
He probably like beat up some guys in prison. He's like, make a wish, like stop the genie bullshit.
It's like, what's his name from Breakfast Club? Anthony,
Michael Hall.
Michael Anthony Hall or whatever. Like, because how he just goes from being like the nerdy guy to being like all of a sudden you just catch him like a couple of years later. It's like, oh, dude, he's just the buff tough guy now. Like, oh, that's real for you. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd have been a good wrestler name. Buff tough guy. Buff tough guy. Oh, this sounds like something Vince McMahon would have made up. Oh man, he just threw shit against the wall, and every once in a while one would stick, and then the rest of them were just like, "What the? I'm a barber." Yeah, yeah, Bar.
And when the one's stuck, it's like, see, I'm a fucking genius.
Exactly. I'm an Undertaker. Yes, I am. Yeah, you're right. He just threw shit against the wall and he just whatever. But yeah, it's a fun little movie. Okay,
Yep, I
there's a
agree.
genie. They make wishes. The kid's bad at wishing. Um, but it's not good. I mean, if you're gonna watch a '90s kids movie, there's like 47 other ones to watch before this one. But it was quintessential '90s clamshell VHS fare. It wasn't Disney, it was Touchstone, but it was
Yeah.
also Disney. So it's
Yeah,
kind
so
of like
offshoot Disney.
offshoot Disney, like
When Disney wants to make a movie, but they don't really want you to know 100% that's a Disney movie.
exact because it was some innuendo jokes in here. A couple
Yeah.
of them. I was like, whoa, that was like really, that's
Yeah.
Touchstone Pictures for you. Their Attitude Era.
Yeah, they got a hard PG.
Yeah, they said hard. They put the hard guh. They're really hard on that guh. In the PG. Yeah, so it is hard PG. I mean, it towed the line. It really did. Because Shaq had a few cuss words.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. So that kid just got just full of attitude and whatnot like that. Like really, that's like not like a kid you want to aspire to be, I guess. In a sense.
Yeah. I showed my oldest the other day, but he had seen the original like '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before, like the movie. But he was kind of young and didn't really pay attention to it. But he's starting to ease into a turtle phase again. Which is why he just rated the turtles above me the other day. But he was like, he's like, Raph said a bad word. I'm like, yeah, he does that. these, these aren't the animated ones, buddy. They don't mess around.
Yeah. The original Turtles had more attitude.
Yeah. So Disney, you wouldn't do that, but Touchstone Pictures, you can say damn over here.
Yeah,
You can say damn at Touchstone Pictures. Even hell, maybe.
Then at Miramax, you can have a Tarantino movie and it could still be under Disney money.
Yeah, Miramax is the one anything goes at Miramax. That's the part of Disney they don't want you to know about.
Yeah, so Disney had to buy that right off the bat. They're like, "Yep, we want to have that so we can have our filthy artsy section."
Yeah. 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 So we could put Pulp Fiction on Disney Plus one day. It's
Yeah,
down
along
there.
with Dogma.
Yeah. Predator is like it's crazy when you do like the Disney Hulu like ESPN bundle.
It's all
Like,
fused together.
yeah, and then you're like scrolling through there and like, oh, here's Winnie the Pooh. Oh, here's Predator.
And Die Hard.
Yeah, it's so great. And Alien, they have like a whole Alien section.
Yeah, I thought that was the strangest thing because it's like I thought the whole point of Disney Plus was that it was supposed to be like, oh, it's all family oriented. That went out the window real fast. That lasted like a couple of years, and then all of a sudden,
Let's see, like when you look at our profiles on our Disney Plus, it's like, my wife and my kids, and then mine has a lock on it. They have to hit a code to get into mine. Because mine's the one that has all the content. So you can go into mine, like Deadpool, Wolverine's there,
yeah,
the Alien, all the stuff like that. But it is weird when you're scrolling through and it's just like very like here's this new Minnie Mouse movie, and then here's Predator 2, It's
yeah.
like,
It's
weird.
I almost it sounds strange. I almost feel like I oddly don't like it. I feel like it's one of those ones. I think that Disney one should just be separated, and
I
that
do too.
Hulu should just be Hulu. I think this weird fusion dance thing is it's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's not the right place for it.
Yeah, I think what we need is like just a streaming service that's not Disney Plus and it's not Hulu. It's just, like ABC or something, or like, yeah. And then you have a Disney section. And when you
Yeah.
go to the Disney section, it's very Disney. You got Pixar, you got animated stuff, you got Happy Kids stuff. And then over here you have like some action channel, and then you got like that kind of stuff in there, and it's no Disney stuff. But yeah, having it all integrated, like mixed and mingled in there, especially when you see mine, because the kids will watch kids stuff on my profile, and then all
So your algorithm's all jacked up.
all my algorithms all jacked up. I was thinking about deleting it the other day and just restarting, because like you'll see the Mandalorian over here, and it's like, oh, it's like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse right next to it. It's just like,
Well, you realize that like those things are not made for multiple people to watch the same account. Like it is not made for that. It's like YouTube. It's like YouTube. You don't dare let anybody else touch it, or else it will so jack that up in 2 seconds.
yeah. Well, we have a premium account, and it's for the family. We all share it. So, but I don't watch like that kind of stuff on YouTube.
You don't have
So
profiles or whatever on YouTube?
we do have one. I mean, I guess I never thought about that. I guess I could.
Yeah, 'cause you can have profiles kind of the same way so that your algorithm doesn't get all messed up.
Yeah, I think I might do that. I think I'll
Yeah.
do that. But anyway, Kazam.
Kazam.
Um,
I watched it on
it's
YouTube, speaking of which, somebody's got to upload there.
I watched it on Disney Plus right next to Predator. Uh, hard PG. Um,
Those hard 20th Century Fox movies.
yeah, you don't fuck around over here, Disney. I ain't no bitch mouse. No, we got action over here. I think Con Air's on there too.
So there we go. Well, kind of, that's an all-American family movie.
Yeah, yeah. Second week in a row. Now, one downfall to this movie. Not really any good explosions. So I can't add anything to the explosion.
No, I don't. The closest thing I guess you have to explosion. Well, Shaq does explode once when he goes to try to create that car in the beginning, and he disappears.
Yeah.
Somewhat but it's not really an explosion. It's like a CG puff away thing.
You had poofs.
Yeah, you had some poofs. I guess that's the best way.
Some
You've had that,
spark-
and you had boombox sparks that he likes to
Yeah.
shoot off onto the audience.
Sparkles, like, okay, if we were doing like a sparkles competition, this would be number one.
Yeah.
But you have some poofs and you have sparkles, and then you have poofy sparkles or sparkly poofs.
So
And those are kind of intense for this movie, but no explosions to add to the 2026 list. So if you're keeping track at home, what do I have written down here real quick?
we got Night of the Comet with the
Night of
long
the
car
Comet.
explosion. Then we got a lot of explosions in Hard Target.
Yeah,
But we're going with the house. I think the house is what we chose for that one. Or when the sensei dude, whatever his name is, the Cajun dude.
yeah. I could even
And the
read.
Shazam's, I guess, or Kazam's the bottom of the barrel of not really explosions, just circles and
Yeah,
poof.
I'm not gonna poofs. I'm not gonna add one to the list of explosions for 26, but we'll keep this going throughout the year, and then I guess towards the end of the year we'll just have an explosion montage, and we can all vote together which one was the one of the year. So
Yeah.
anyway, Kazam you can find it on Disney Plus. You can find it free on YouTube. You can avoid it altogether, and I might recommend that actually. But
If you look hard enough, you might find the Sinbad one. You
yeah,
gotta look real hard. You gotta look for that cat that's gonna cross the street twice.
Yeah. If you do find it, come to us.
Yeah.
We're
Hold that
the
out.
one. We're the ones to resurrect it. I think we qualify the most.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Shazam, Kazam, whatever you remember. I hope you remember it well. And that's my final thoughts on this movie. Anything else you'd like to add before we get out of here?
Nah, as I said, I think it's still a pretty solid one, all in all. Still a fun watch at the end of the day, even if it is kind of goofy.
Yeah, I agree. It's a silly, fun watch and a good '90s time capsule movie. Definitely other great kids movies I can recommend over it, but especially if you love like '90s basketball too and Shaquille O'Neal and that kind of stuff, there's some added element too. So if you've never seen it, maybe go check it out. But if not, you're not missing much either. So
Yeah, you kind of had to have been there, I think.
yeah,
I think if you see this movie, if you weren't able to see it when it came out or around that time period, because that's not when it came out on TV. I don't know. It's one of those ones. If you're like 20 years old and like you went back to watch this now, I don't know if you'd have to be really open minded to film. That's all I gotta say.
real quick, Space Jam versus Kazam.
Definitely Space Jam.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no contest. I hate to sort of say it, but
Yeah. Kazam had a little bit better of a story concept.
yeah, I will say
Yeah.
but Michael
But
Jordan's
Shame.
Bugs Bunny, yeah.
Shame.
The soundtrack, I will say the soundtrack, just including the weird rap songs that they have in here that like Shaq and the boy have. The background music and stuff in Kazam is actually really good. Like a lot of the tracks that they choose for that are actually pretty sweet. But the Space Jam soundtrack is legendary.
Yeah. Yeah. We've mentioned Diddy. You got to mention R. Kelly too. So
That's one of the best R. Kelly songs. I don't care what
that is the best R. Kelly song. Well, remixed remix the ignition,
Yeah,
remix
that's
the
a good one too.
conviction, hot and fresh out of prison.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, but listen, Kazaam, 1996. We got our kids movie for the month. Hopefully we'll
Me
have to
too.
better ones this year. But as always, if you want to, yell at us on social media, go to @VIA VHS. I have a feeling a lot of you will want to this week. Give your 2 cents on Shazaam. If it exists, did it exist? Did it not exist? Tell us what you think. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to, feel free to share all your delusions. And you may be right. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. So, share your thoughts. But you go to @VIA VHS on X and TikTok. I think it's where I'm at mostly now. Facebook, if you want to wander into that dystopian hellhole, go right ahead. I'm on there. I might see it. But thanks again. So thanks for listening to VIA VHS. Y'all have a good one. And VIA VHS is out.